That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Ryan O'Halloran.
Jason David Frank.
Humberto Ramos.
Please do not change channel.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't yet, I don't know why you haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit the little bell. You can come back over and over again. We've got artists, authors, filmmakers, musicians, cosplayers, just creative people of all kinds, and we are here every single weekday. We're right now at MegaCon 2018 in Orlando, Florida, and we're hanging with comic writer Benny Powell.
Hey.
Benny, thanks for hanging with us, man.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming over.
Yes.
All right, so Benny is responsible, yes, he takes all the blame for Wayward Sons.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that here in a bit.
Sure.
Yeah. And also for the Markiplier comics.
Correct.
Right. So let's talk about Wayward Sons first.
Sure.
Yeah.
The title, it's one of those wonderful, believe it or not, Wayward Sons began its life as first a game of all things in college.
Okay.
Based on this really dates me, bulletin board system role-playing game.
For those of you out there on YouTube, ask your moms and dads. We used to have these things called bulletin boards, where we, kept up with it. It's like pre-Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, it's pre-internet. I mean,
this is like it's like Morse code for the internet.
Yes.
And so Wayward Sons was a bulletin board game.
Started out as that,
okay.
And it came from my love for mythology.
All right.
The basic story for it is 5,000 years ago, two groups of aliens crash land on Earth.
Okay.
And the resulting war between them inspires every myth, legend, and fairy tale in human history.
Everything you've ever known is because of Benny Powell. Because Wayward Sons. See, that's everything. You guys watch Grimm? That's Benny. Well, sort of, in a roundabout sort of way.
So what was interesting was I had always molded over as a comic, and I started work at Marvel and then moved out into, when Marvel was going through its bankruptcy, I found myself in marketing because
it's actually, look where we are. It's really hard to say that sentence with a straight face now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think back to those days?
Oh,
how hard the industry was hit, right?
It got so bad that literally my last straw at that time was when both of my editors were fired on the same day.
Oh Lord!
I went from having 2 books about to premiere or to launch to having no books, and I said, maybe I'll get into something a little more stable, and I landed at Priceline.
It took him until the market to realize that art isn't the most stable of career. So how long have you been a professional artist?
I started.
We'll mumble it so they don't know how old we are.
As I was just saying in a panel, I hate the fact that I now use the word decades because it became plural. It's bad.
That's an awesome segue because our next segment with Benny is going to be talking about his Markiplier comics.
Sure.
And the Markiplier comics is inspired by the YouTuber who is now the #1 YouTuber.
According to Forbes.
So a Markiplier, who is a YouTube gamer.
He's
a personality, entertainer, yeah. And so Benny has actually taken him on many an adventure in the comics. Yeah. So now, again, you can use the term decades when you talk about your art, and you are now writing for one of the hippest markets.
Yeah, it's funny.
See, old guys are hip. We're cool, baby.
According to my kids, only because I work with Mark.
Only because you work with Mark. According to my kid, you know, the little cosplay Michael, only because he works with Mark. Now I'm cool because he came on the show. See that? I don't know. It's like a proximity alert thing, right? Yeah. So how did that partnership come up?
It's kind of a funny story. His brother, believe it or not, Thomas Fischbach, was Mark's real name is Mark Fischbach. So his brother Thomas Fischbach was actually the popular one. Believe it or not, he had broken records with several $100,000 he had raised on Kickstarter. And this is early days of Kickstarter.
Those were those first ones when that was unheard of.
Yeah, and like everyone's, what is a comic book called Two Kinds? So at our booth at San Diego Comic-Con, of course, he was working with us. We said, hey, come on out. And he goes, can I bring my little brother? You can put him to work. We're like, sure. You know, he's the star. Of course, you know, Tom's the star. He can have whoever he wants. And so we were at the so he comes and he's this bundle of energy. Hey, how you doing? You know. And
I'll tell you what, we caught you guys out at San Diego 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And bundle of energy is just it's not even descriptive enough, is it? This is a guy who is just always on.
Yeah, I mean, he now gets to a point where he does have to actually breathe.
Which is always something that we like to do, yeah.
But I would say he absolutely loves and is energized by his audience because he loves them.
Yeah.
I mean, this
is the thing about the paradigm shift the last decade in arts and entertainment. The advent of YouTube, the advent of independent publishing. I know you've seen a lot of it in the independent comic market.
Yeah, well, I mean, even with web comics.
You see, the shift in paradigm has made it so that our largest arts and entertainment professionals are fans at the core, and they're fans of their fan bases.
Yeah,
it's we always, when we go to the conventions, we always say there's kind of different models of entertainers that we're going to run into. There's sort of old Hollywood, what's left of the old vanguard, and then there's a whole new generation like Mark, like some of the folks that we have here, that they live inside the fan base. They love it.
And he absolutely, I will say this, you know, you get a lot of celebrities who they have a public persona, and then behind the scenes, they're like a monster to do. That's not the case. I mean, he occasionally hits me.
Why is my whole staff making that face? I don't understand. Wow. Okay. So, how many books do you have? How many Markiplier books do you have over there
it's a 4-part series, but what we've done is we've got issues 1 and 2. What we tried to do is in the comic book market, you have the collectors and stuff like that. Plus, we wanted to have a lot of fun with it. So what we did was we did a total of, there are 9 covers for the books, and on each one of those covers, it's like a parody of a movie poster.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
So, but what was the real trick was we tied the parody movie poster into what's actually happening in the book.
Ask you, okay, so everybody, I was gonna say for those of you that don't know, but this is YouTube. Yeah. They know.
Yeah.
Markiplier is a personality. He's got a comic sharp wit and an energy about him, and he is a gamer. So he's gaming while entertaining you. But in the comic stories, you've given him some adventure. You've given him some stories. So how did you shift those gears?
What we wanted to do was with that is we realized at his core what he does when he plays the video games, the Let's Play video game videos, is he immerses himself in that world.
And tells a story.
And tells a story. You're basically watching Mark in that world. And so I was like, well, we need to do that, replicate that same feeling. So the story is he gets this watch in the mail, doesn't read the instructions, which is typical Mark, pushes a button, and
y'all don't believe him, you should check out the channel, I'm telling you. It's true.
Yeah, and he pushes a button and immediately falls through a dimensional portal into the world of our comics. So it's the same feeling.
So it's Mark playing through the comics.
Yes.
and in Mark fashion.
Yes. Which the things he does.
You hear often art imitates life or life imitates art, but you've managed to take that to a whole nother level.
Yeah. And it's a fun adventure. We wanted it to be fun. At the same time, we do kind of create an arc for his character, because at first it's you get to see him just struggling, wanting to get home, but still being quintessentially Mark.
Okay.
Mouthing off. At one point, one of the guys mistakes him for someone bad and is chasing him down. Says, "Come back here and I'll give you a swift death." And he's like, "Does that ever work?"
Ever? Yeah. Ever? Okay. So now we all know Mark is very noteworthy in that as his channel, he has grown as a personality.
Right.
He has really embraced a lot of collaborators.
Yeah.
He collaborates with several other channels from time to time. Should we look for cameos from some of these guys up the road?
We'll see.
We're working on it. His mind just started going. You
Let's just
see it behind his eyes.
If he makes it back alive by the end of the series,
no spoilers here. You don't know yet.
Then he might have the watch with him when he does. So
which, with the guys that Mark hangs out with online, that's a dangerous watch to leave laying around. If you left that on a coffee table, bet just things are going to happen.
And let's just say even one of my this is not confirmed, I would love to see what would happen if Chica, his dog, his famous dog, got a hold of him. Yeah. See? And those of you who know the channel know Mark is prone, he would leave that watch somewhere where somebody was bound to pick it up. So where are you going from here? Where are you going to be now? You're making the con circuit, I know, and where are you going to be next? I do a lot of the Fan Expo shows. They're really great.
This is a great team to work with. They really are. They embrace all of us.
Yeah.
And they let us embrace our geekdom. Right.
And I do know that it's up in the air whether I'll do San Diego this year. We've done San Diego since 2010. We have the opportunity to. It's just we've got a lot of big stuff going on.
Do you remember when there was San Diego and there was New York and it was a small circuit, and now there are quite literally thousands of shows.
Oh, you've got a half dozen every weekend.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Or more.
You know, this is what happens when what was our geekdom, our subculture, has become popular culture. This is where people live now.
You know, I laugh because I go, you know, I was born way too early. I would have been very popular in high school. You know?
Yeah, no doubt.
I'd have had all the ladies, but
sadly, that wasn't our world. We had to wait till we were middle-aged, young middle-aged.
Well, I do have a beautiful wife, so I'll have to agree with you.
Yeah.
And she is a big geek. That's why she named our son's middle name is Gotham. So
that is good parenting.
Yeah.
You're setting the bar high.
I also do know that premiering, I believe, in New York Comic-Con, we're scheduling a new book by Jamie Tyndall. He's the creator, famous YouTube, Zenoscope cover artist and things like that. And I'm the writer helping create that, and we're premiering. We've got the artwork here, but the actual book should be out. It's called White Widow.
Wow. Now, I was going to say, we talked a little yesterday off camera, and you showed us one of your first pieces of art in a long time that you put together.
That's the White Widow. And
beautiful piece. We're going to go ahead and get one digital copy and spin that up.
Sure.
So everybody can see that. That's amazing.
What's interesting is I hadn't done artwork in a long time, and Jamie, who is an artist, a phenomenal artist, he had eye surgery and was not able to do it. We were going to have the piece for here, and so he was like, sure, go ahead.
Benny's just like, you know what, I got this.
So
it's a beautiful piece. We can't wait to show everybody out there. That's my shut up card, so I think I'll listen to her this one time. Don't let it go to your head. We're going to say thank you, though, to our partners and our friends at Some Unique Magazine, Famous Faces and Funnies, Krypton Radio, Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason, our great friends at Space Coast Comics, our friends at Asylum Convention and Entertainment Services, and of course our new friends here at Fan Expo and MegaCon 2018. Thank you so much to Benny Powell for coming over and hanging with us a little bit. Remember, everybody, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.